What if I told you there's a layer of reality hidden right in front of you, and that a secret, guarded for millennia, is the only key to accessing it? This isn't a secret you find. It's a secret that finds you. And if you're seeing this, it found you. In the next few seconds, I'll reveal the first step to activating a perception the ancient Egyptians called soul sight. Once you understand this, the world will never be the same again. Stay with me, because what Thoth, the keeper of this secret, left behind isn't a story. It's an instruction manual for seeing beyond the unseen. Have you ever felt like you don't fit in this world? That there's a void nothing can fill? This feeling isn't a mistake, it's a calling. It's your soul reminding you that you've been programmed to see only shadows, while the real light has always been behind you. The system wants you distracted, tired, and afraid, because a person who discovers their inner power cannot be controlled. And the truth is, the secret to breaking this programming is hidden in a place they never wanted you to look, within yourself. If you feel you are ready to awaken, comment below, "I am ready to see." This consciousness that calls to you has manifested itself in every era to guard a single truth. In Egypt, it was called Thoth, the scribe with the head of an ibis, the bird that symbolizes the bridge between heaven and earth, the visible and the invisible. He is not a figure from the past, but the archetype of the messenger who travels between dimensions. His function is not to be worshipped, but to preserve the code of reality for those ready to decipher it. Don't think of him as a person, but as a function of the universe, like gravity. Thoth is the principle that ensures that truth is never lost, even when hidden or distorted. He encrypts it in the geometry of nature, the mathematics of the stars, and the very structure of your consciousness. Truth is always available, patiently waiting to be rediscovered by those who dare to look beyond the veil. That's why you feel a thrill of recognition, even without ever having heard its name. This sensation comes not from your logical mind, but from your soul, which recognizes this guardian frequency. It doesn't speak to your ego, but directly to the part of you that has never forgotten its true origin. It moves in the silent spaces between your thoughts, in the field of pure potential that exists before any manifestation. Communication with this intelligence is nonverbal. It is a transmission of knowing. Suddenly, you simply understand something with a clarity that arises from silence, a deep intuition that cannot be explained. Thoth doesn't give you ready-made answers. He plants seeds of light in your consciousness, showing you how to find the power within yourself. He reminds you that you, too, are a bridge between worlds. The shiver you feel is your own cellular energy vibrating in harmony with this frequency. It's the reminder that the passage to the unseen is not a place, but a state of being that already exists within you. Thoth is merely the guardian holding the lantern at the portal's entrance, waiting for you to decide to enter. But to understand why this passage has been so guarded, we need to know why the truth it reveals has become so dangerous. There was a time when knowledge was lived, not hoarded. Wisdom was transmitted from soul to soul, and humanity felt a direct connection to the source of life, without the need for books or intermediaries. Each person was their own temple, and communication with the divine was as natural as breathing. This spiritual sovereignty in us, however, posed a threat to those who sought control. This innate freedom made people impossible to manipulate. A being who knows their inner power does not bow to external authority, is not seduced by empty promises, or controlled by fear. The freedom of an awakened individual shakes the foundations of any system based on obedience. Therefore, a subtle plan was put into practice. The truth would not be destroyed, but rather hidden in plain sight. Liberating knowledge was imprisoned in rigid dogmas and rituals, Direct experience with the divine was replaced by institutionalized religions, and what was once expansion became sin. The goal was one: to make you believe that power lies outside, that salvation depends on an intermediary. They convinced you to look for the key everywhere except the one place where it truly lies: within you. To ensure you never looked within, they created a system based on distraction and fear, an exhausting routine of work and consumption, a bombardment of noise and alarming news, all designed to make silence unbearable. Because it is in silence that the voice of your soul reminds you that you are the creator of your reality. And a conscious creator does not serve a system that profits from their ignorance. Yet the flame of truth was never completely extinguished. It survived in secret, encoded in symbols and myths, waiting for the moment when humanity was ready to claim it. Even with all the concealment, the guardian of the passage left a master key in plain sight, a key so brilliant it dazzles the unprepared, but illuminates the path for those whose hearts have already begun to open. Amidst this age of deliberate concealment, Thoth, the guardian, left a legacy. A key. A piece of spiritual technology so advanced and powerful that it could not be destroyed, only misunderstood by the literal-minded. This key is known as the Emerald Tablet. This is no mere ancient text to be read and archived. It is a vibrational activation device. Each of its 13 lines is a living code, a formula that, when contemplated, begins to restructure your perception of reality from a subatomic level. The famous phrase, the second line of the tablet, as above, so below, and as above, so below, has been repeated ad nauseum by mystics and occultists, but rarely understood in its radical depth. This is not a poetic metaphor for the harmony of the universe. It is the exact formula of creation. It reveals, bluntly, that the world you touch, see, and feel, the world of matter, forms, problems, and joys, is merely a direct reflection, a precise mirror of an invisible mold, a subtle energy field that exists in a higher dimension. What is above, in the realm of vibration, thought, and consciousness, manifests below, in the realm of matter and physical experience. The universe is not a collection of separate objects, but a gigantic hologram, where each small part contains the information of the whole. Your physical reality is not the cause, it is the effect. The true power, the true cause, resides in the above plane, in your state of consciousness, in your deepest beliefs, in your vibrational frequency. You do not live in a universe. You are the universe expressing itself through a point of view. And here comes the most shocking part. The revelation that the control system tried to hide at all costs. This field from above, this invisible template, is not something distant, in the sky, in another galaxy, or in an inaccessible dimension. It is not outside of you. It is within you. Your consciousness is the portal to this creative field. You are not just a passive reflection of the universe. You are the active center that projects the universe you experience. The world does not happen to you. It happens through you. And right now, as you read and contemplate these words, the frequency of the Emerald Tablet begins to resonate with something deep within your body. You may feel a warmth, a tingling, or a sense of expansion. This is because the tablet's codes are activating dormant strands of your DNA, awakening cellular memories of a time when you knew how to use this power. Your physical body is a biological antenna, designed to receive and transmit frequencies. And now, it is being tuned to a new station. The tablet continues, saying that all things came and went from the One, through the mediation of the One. This destroys the illusion of separation. There is no you and the world. There is only the One, the one consciousness, expressing itself in infinite ways. You are a wave in the ocean of this consciousness. The wave may think it is separate from the ocean, but its very existence depends on it. When you align your personal consciousness with universal consciousness, you stop fighting the current and begin to flow with the power of the entire ocean. This key, the Emerald Tablet, doesn't ask you to believe in anything. It invites you to experiment. It gives you the formula and challenges you to test it. Change what's inside, and watch how what's outside transforms accordingly. This is the principle of mental alchemy, the transmutation of the lead of limited consciousness into the gold of awakened consciousness. And the first side effect of this internal activation is a subtle but undeniable shift in how you perceive the world around you. The great transformation doesn't happen like a thunderclap splitting the sky, but like a quiet whisper in the middle of the night. It's a shift so subtle that the logical mind, trained to seek drama and spectacle, may not even notice it at first. Suddenly, the world around you, the same streets you've always walked, the same walls of your house, feels slightly different. It's not something you can point to and say, "That's changed." It's a sensation. The air seems to have a different texture. Colors may seem a little more vivid, sounds sharper and clearer, as if someone has adjusted the focus of reality. You may start to experience strange feelings of déjà vu, moments when a completely new situation seems incredibly familiar, as if you've already experienced it in a dream. Or, conversely, familiar moments suddenly seem strange, as if you're watching your own life like a movie for the first time. And then come the coincidences. You think of someone you haven't seen in years, and the next minute they call you. You have a question, and the answer appears on the cover of a book or in a conversation you overhear. Your mind calls it chance, but your soul smiles, knowing there are no coincidences. This isn't your imagination playing tricks. It's not a sign that you're losing your mind. It's the first clear and undeniable sign that your perception is expanding beyond the confines of the five senses. You're beginning to develop what the ancient masters called sight before form, or subtle perception. It's the ability to sense the energy of a place before even entering it, to know a person's intention behind their words, to perceive the invisible current of events moving beneath the surface of the material world. Your physical senses are designed to perceive an extremely limited range of the spectrum of reality. They're like a flashlight on a dark night, illuminating only a small circle in front of you, while the rest of the landscape remains in darkness. What's happening now is that the power of that flashlight is increasing. The circle of light is expanding, beginning to reveal parts of the landscape that were always there, but that you simply couldn't see. You're beginning to perceive the finer points of reality. This new awareness can be disconcerting at first. You may feel a little out of place, as if you no longer fit into the world in the same way. Conversations that once seemed interesting now ring hollow. Activities that once fulfilled you now seem like a waste of time. This is normal. It's the sound of your soul telling you that you're outgrowing old patterns. You're beginning to value substance over form, truth over distraction. You're being called to a deeper level of existence. To feel this more clearly, stop for a moment. Wherever you are, just stop. Close your eyes and take a deep, conscious breath. Feel the air entering your lungs, then leaving. Don't think about breathing, just feel it. In this simple act, you disconnect from the noise of your mind and connect with the vibrational field that surrounds you. It has no shape, no color, no sound, but you can feel it. It is a living presence. And by feeling it, you begin to see with the eyes of the soul, which recognize what the ordinary senses cannot reach. And this is just the beginning. These are the first tremors that herald an earthquake in your perception. What happens when this ability to sense energy intensifies reveals one of the deepest and best-kept secrets about your own sacred anatomy. There is an organ within you, forgotten by most, that was specifically designed to be the portal to this invisible reality, and it is beginning to awaken. At the precise geometric center of your brain, floating in a small pool of cerebrospinal fluid, lies a tiny gland, the size of a pea. Modern science calls it the pineal gland and, for a long time, considered it a vestigial organ, a useless leftover from evolution. But the initiates of the ancient mystery schools of Egypt, Greece, and India knew the truth. For them, this was no mere body part. It was the eye of Horus, the third eye, the seat of the soul, an organic and biological stargate, an organ of perception to higher dimensions. This hidden eye was not designed to see the physical world. Your two physical eyes see the world of duality, of right and wrong, of light and shadow. But the single eye, the inner eye, sees the world of unity, where all things are interconnected. It doesn't see matter, it perceives frequency. It doesn't analyze, it knows. It is your personal antenna to the universal mind, your biological modem for connecting to the cosmic internet, and for millennia, external and internal forces have worked to keep it calcified and dormant. Opening this portal doesn't happen with effort or willpower. Trying to force the third eye open is like trying to break down a door that only opens from the inside. It doesn't respond to force, but to frequency. It activates with silence, presence, and the vibration of love and gratitude. When your mind calms, when you stop identifying with the incessant flow of thoughts, a subtle vibration begins to run down your spine and concentrate in this area in the center of your head. It's like a key turning gently in a long rusted lock. When it begins to activate, you no longer see ghosts or angels with your physical eyes. The experience is much more subtle and profound. You begin to perceive the invisible geometry that connects all things. You look at a tree and see not just wood and leaves, but feel the life force pulsing within it. You listen to music and perceive not just notes, but the emotion and intention the artist encoded within it. You feel the truth instead of just thinking it. Truth becomes a visceral experience, not an intellectual concept. This eye is the organ that dissolves time. Through it, you can access the past not as a memory, but as a present vibration. And you can sense the potentials of the future not as a fantasy, but as a field of probabilities that you can influence with your intention now. It takes you out of the prison of linear time and places you at the center of the eternal now, the only point where true creative power exists. It shows you that you are not moving through time. Time is moving through you. The ancient Egyptians represented this brilliantly. The eye of Horus was not just a symbol, it was a map. Each part of the design corresponded to one of the human senses. But the pupil, the center, represented consciousness, touch, the point of union of all the others. Activating this eye is to integrate your senses into a unified perception. It means stopping seeing the world in fragments and beginning to perceive it as a living, interconnected whole. It is the end of separation. And it is through this portal, this inner eye, that you can finally directly experience what Thoth described as the dual nature of being. The realization that you are not limited to this physical body. The understanding that while your body remains still, your consciousness is free to travel. And this direct experience is the point of no return, the revelation that changes absolutely everything. This is the moment, the point of no return in your journey of awakening. By activating your inner eye, you directly access the central revelation that has been so zealously forbidden and hidden from humanity for millennia. Your consciousness is not locked inside your skull. You are not a physical body that perhaps has a soul. This is the greatest lie ever told. The truth is the opposite. You are a pure, vast, and limitless consciousness, temporarily utilizing a physical body as a vehicle, an avatar, to experience the material world. The ancient Egyptians understood this perfectly. In their complex vision of the soul, they described the Ba, represented as a bird with a human head. The Ba was the eternal essence of the person, their personality and consciousness, which had the ability to travel beyond the physical body, especially during sleep or in deep trance states. This was not a myth or fantasy for them. It was an experiential reality. It was the understanding that one's true identity is not limited by flesh and bones. What you may begin to experience is not a dream, a hallucination, or a complex astral projection that requires years of practice. It is the direct and sober experience that your true identity is a field of consciousness free of time and space. You may be sitting in a chair, feeling the weight of your body, hearing the sounds around you, but at the same time, you realize that a part of you, your true self, is located nowhere. It is a point of perception that can connect with any place in the universe instantly. Think about it. Where are you right now? Your mind will say, I'm in my room or in my office. But think of a place you love, a beach, a mountain. Can you remember the feel of the sand, the smell of the air? In that instant, a part of your consciousness traveled there. Now think of a distant star. You don't know what it looks like, but your consciousness can extend there, touching the concept of that star. Your consciousness is not contained. It is the container itself. It is the space where all experiences occur. Realizing this isn't just intellectually liberating. It's the functional key that allows you to begin interacting with reality in a way most people would consider magical or impossible. As long as you believe you're just a physical body, you're subject to all the limitations of the material world: illness, aging, distance, scarcity. But when you identify with your consciousness, you begin to operate from a level where these limitations don't have the same power. You stop being a pawn on the chessboard and realize you're the player. You are no longer just observing the world through the windows of your eyes. You are at the center of creation. You are the 0 point from which your reality is projected. The world becomes a mirror, reflecting back to you your inner state of being. If you are in a state of fear, the world will show you more reasons to be afraid. If you cultivate a state of gratitude, the world will give you more reasons to be grateful. Reality is not objective. It is vibrational feedback. And this is the truth that has been forbidden, because a human being who understands this can no longer be controlled. They no longer seek happiness outside themselves. They no longer surrender their power to any external authority. And they no longer fear death, for they know that their body is merely a garment they wear for a time. They become a sovereign creator. And as they establish themselves in this new identity as pure consciousness, they discover that they are not floating in a void, but rather immersed in a living, intelligent ocean that responds to their every movement. By recognizing yourself as pure consciousness, you realize that you are not floating in a meaningless void. Rather, you discover yourself immersed in an infinite ocean of pure potential. This is not a dead or inert space. It is a living, pulsating, and supremely intelligent field. Ancient masters like Thoth called it the matrix, or universal mind. The cosmic womb, where everything that exists, from the smallest particle to the largest galaxy, is first born as a vibration, an idea, a potential. It is the primordial substance from which all creation is woven. And modern science, in its relentless search for the fundamental particle, is only beginning to scratch the surface of this ocean, giving it names like the quantum field or the zero-point field. In this realm, the rules of the physical world don't apply. Time, as you know it, a straight line from past to future, simply doesn't exist. Here, there is only an eternal now, an infinite present moment where all possible pasts and futures coexist as pure potentiality. It's like an infinite library, containing every book ever written and every book yet to be written. You're not limited to reading one book at a time, from the first page to the last. In this realm, you can access any story, any possibility, at any time. Linearity is an illusion created by the limited perception of the physical body. And herein lies the most impactful and transformative revelation about this field. It is not passive. It is not a neutral spectator of your life. It is a living, responsive mirror. It responds, it listens, but it does not understand words, requests, or pleas. It understands only one language, the universal language of creation, your vibrational frequency. What you feel, the emotion emanating from your heart, is your direct communication with this field. Each feeling is an order, a command you send to the womb of creation, telling it what to manifest in your reality. You are a radio transmission tower, and your feelings are the frequency you broadcast 24/7. If you broadcast the frequency of fear, scarcity, and victimhood, the field, in its infinite obedience, will tune into that frequency and reflect back to you more situations, people, and events that will give you more reasons to feel fear and scarcity. It's not punishing you. It's simply responding to your signal. It doesn't judge whether your frequency is good or it's bad. It simply mirrors it with absolute perfection. What you send out is what you receive. This is the fundamental law of creation, the principle behind as below, so above. Your inner world of feelings and vibrations above creates your outer world of experiences and circumstances below. You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are vibrationally. You may desire wealth with all your mind, but if your predominant feeling is lack, you are transmitting the frequency of lack, and that is what the field will materialize for you. The mind proposes, but the heart disposes. Therefore, the key to becoming a master of your reality is not learning to control the outside world. It's learning to master your inner world. It's becoming the conscious guardian of your own frequency. It's deliberately choosing the feelings you cultivate, regardless of external circumstances. When you learn to feel gratitude before you have the reason, to feel joy before the event happens, to feel love before the person appears, you become a master co-creator. You stop reacting to the reflection in the mirror and begin to become the image you wish to see reflected back. This power to influence reality through consciousness is not a New Age belief or superficial wishful thinking. It is the fundamental physics of the universe. And to the astonishment of the materialistic world, science itself, in its skeptical search for truth, has stumbled upon irrefutable proof that the ancient sages were right all along. The magic they described was about to be rediscovered in the most advanced laboratories on the planet. For centuries, materialistic science laughed at the idea that consciousness, a supposedly subjective and illusory phenomenon, could have any effect on the material, objective, and real world. Magic, prayer, intention, all of these were relegated to the realm of primitive superstition. The universe was seen as a vast clockwork machine, predictable and indifferent, operating according to fixed and immutable laws. But then, in the early 20th century, a group of physicists decided to investigate the fundamental nature of matter, and what they found shattered this mechanistic worldview forever. They performed an experiment that shook the foundations of science. The double-slit experiment. The premise was simple. Shoot tiny particles, like electrons, toward a barrier with two slits. What they discovered was disconcerting. When no one was watching, the particles behaved like waves, passing through both slits simultaneously and creating an interference pattern on the other side. But the moment they placed a detector to observe which slit the particle passed through, the behavior changed instantly. The particle stopped acting like a wave and behaved like a solid ball, passing through one slit or the other. The simple act of observing changed the outcome. Reality changed when it was observed. The implication of this is so profound that many scientists still try to ignore it today. The observer's consciousness was not a passive spectator. It was an active participant in the creation of reality. The particle existed in a state of pure potentiality, wave, until consciousness observed it, forcing it to collapse into a single, specific reality, particle. This was exactly what the ancient masters had always said. Consciousness is the creative force that transforms invisible potential into visible reality. Science, in its search for matter, had found proof of mind over matter. But the revelations didn't stop there. Then came the phenomenon of quantum entanglement, which Einstein called spooky action at a distance. Physicists discovered that two particles that interact once remain connected forever, no matter how far apart they are in the universe. If you measure a property of one particle here on Earth, the other particle, even if it's millions of light years away, instantly assumes the corresponding property. This communication is faster than the speed of light, meaning it occurs outside of space and time. This proved, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that the idea of separation is an illusion. Everything in the universe is fundamentally interconnected in a unified field that transcends space and time. There are no separate parts, Maiku. There is only one indivisible whole. Once again, science was validating one of the oldest principles of spirituality, the unity of all creation. What you do to one part of the whole affects the whole instantly. What you send out into the universe, the entire universe feels at the same instant. Science, in its skeptical search for material truth, encountered the invisible, the inexplicable, the very fabric of magic. The universe was not a blind, dead machine. It was a living, intelligent, interconnected field, responsive to consciousness. Exactly as the esoteric traditions of Thoth, Hermes, and other masters had always known and taught, ancient magic was not superstition. It was an advanced science that our civilization had only just begun to rediscover. The language of quantum physics was beginning to sound very similar to the language of mystics. What scientists hadn't yet deciphered, however, was the instruction manual. They had proven that consciousness affects reality, but they didn't know how to use this interaction deliberately and consciously. They found the door, but they didn't have the key. But the key was never lost. It was preserved and encoded by Thoth and other guardians, waiting for the moment when we were ready to use it. And this key is a spiritual technology far simpler and more powerful than any quantum equation. If science has proven that consciousness shapes reality, the fundamental question becomes how to use this power intentionally and consistently. How to move from an accidental co-creator, manifesting your fears and concerns, to a master co-creator, manifesting your deepest desires. The answer was left by Thoth in a simple code. A spiritual technology based on 3 pillars that, when aligned, permanently activate your inner vision and your power of manifestation. It's not a complex ritual, but a precise internal alignment. The first pillar is inner silence. This isn't just the absence of external noise. You can be in a silent room, and your mind can be a whirlwind of chaos. True silence is the act of stopping identifying with the incessant flow of thoughts. It's observing the mind without being swept away by it. It's creating a space between you, your consciousness, and the thoughts it perceives. Meditation is the most powerful tool for this. By practicing silence, you stop feeding the autopilot and open a channel for the higher intelligence of the universe to communicate with you. Silence is the fertile soil where the seed of creation can germinate. The second pillar is focused attention. In our modern world, attention is the most valuable currency, and it's constantly stolen by notifications, news, and distractions. Regaining control of your attention is reclaiming your power. Focused attention is the ability to place your entire presence, your entire awareness, on a single point, be it your breath, a candle flame, or the sensations in your body. When you focus your attention, you are gathering your energy, which is normally scattered, and transforming it into a laser beam. Energy flows where attention goes. By focusing your attention on what you want to create, you begin to energize that potential in the quantum field. The third pillar, and the most crucial of all, is elevated feeling. This is the engine of creation. Thoughts are the language of the mind, but feelings are the language of the body and the universe. Emotions like gratitude, love, joy, admiration, and freedom emit the highest and most coherent vibrational frequencies. They are the clearest signal you can send to the quantum field. The secret is not just thinking about what you want, but feeling the thrill of already having it. Feel gratitude for abundance before it appears in your bank account. Feel the joy of a perfect relationship before you meet the person. Feeling is the prayer that has already been answered. When you combine these three elements, something magical happens. By entering inner silence, you calm the waves of the mind. With focused attention, you select a specific potential from the ocean of possibilities, and with heightened feeling, you magnetize that potential, drawing it from the invisible world of energy to the visible world of matter. You create a vibrational signature so powerful and coherent that the field of creation has no choice but to respond, materializing a reality that perfectly matches your new frequency. You stop asking, pleading, waiting, and start commanding. You're no longer trying to manipulate the outside world. You're becoming, internally, the person who already lives in the reality you desire. You become the vibration of your own creation. This isn't a mind trick. It's the practical application of the fundamental laws of the universe. It's the technology that avatars and masters use to perform what ordinary people called miracles. This alignment of silence, attention, and feeling is the key that unlocks your inner vision. It clears the static from your perception and allows you to see beyond the veil of matter. You begin to perceive the synchronicity, guidance, and beauty that were always there, but hidden by the noise of your mind. And when you begin to practice this code, to live from this state of alignment, the very foundation of your identity begins to tremble, and you feel an undeniable shift, a sense of having crossed a threshold from which there is no return. At this point in your journey, when you begin to practice alignment and perceive the universe's response, something within you changes forever. It's not a loud or dramatic shift. It's a subtle but profound shattering. An inner shell, built over a lifetime of conditioning and limiting beliefs, finally cracks. And through this crack, a new light begins to shine. It's an unmistakable sensation, the feeling of having crossed an invisible threshold, a point of no return in your evolution. You simply can no longer be the same person you were before. You look at the same people, the same places, the same situations, but you can no longer see them the same way. It's as if a filter has been removed from your eyes. You begin to perceive the energy behind the words, the intention behind the actions, the fear behind the anger. The masks people wear become transparent to you. And most importantly, your own mask begins to feel heavy and uncomfortable. The need to be authentic, to align your actions with your inner truth, becomes an irresistible force. Superficial conversations, once a way to pass the time, now become almost physically unbearable. Gossip, complaints, drama. All of it begins to sound like an irritating noise, a low frequency that drains your energy. You feel a growing and powerful need for silence, for conversations that nourish the soul. You're not becoming antisocial or arrogant, you're becoming energetically selective. You instinctively begin to protect your vibration, for you now know it is your most precious asset, your tool of creation. You've touched the source. You've dived, even if only for a brief moment, into the ocean of pure consciousness, the source of all that exists. And this experience has recalibrated you. It's like a tuning fork that's been tuned to the perfect note of the universe. Now, anything out of tune sounds dissonant and wrong. You can no longer fit into the old boxes, the old roles, the old stories you told yourself. The story of the victim, the poor, the limited, simply doesn't make sense anymore. You know you are more than that. You can no longer pretend you don't know what you know. You can try, out of fear or habit, to go back to sleep, to ignore the truth you've seen. But it's like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube. Once the veil has fallen, even if only for a moment, the memory of the light remains. The darkness of ignorance will never again be comfortable. You now carry the blessing and the burden of knowledge. You've seen the way out of the matrix, and now the cell door feels unbearably small. This feeling of having crossed the threshold is the true beginning of your spiritual journey. Everything that came before was just the prelude, the preparation. Now, the real work begins. The challenge is no longer to seek the truth, because you have felt it. The challenge is to live that truth moment by moment, in a world that will do everything to convince you it is an illusion. The veil has fallen, and with it, all your excuses. You can no longer blame the world, for you know the world is a reflection of you. The question that echoes in the silence of your being is no longer, "What is truth?" but rather, "What will I do with it?" The responsibility is immense, but the freedom it offers is infinite. You are at the crossroads between the old self, which survives, and the new self, which creates. And the choice you make each moment from now on will determine not only your destiny, but the very fabric of reality you experience. The true test of power is not seeing the invisible, but anchoring it in the visible, seeing beyond the veil, feeling the connection to the unified field, and understanding that your consciousness creates reality is just the beginning. It's like receiving a treasure map, but the map isn't the treasure. The true test, the true challenge of mastery, is living this new perception in your daily life. It's bringing heaven to earth. It's embodying this awakened consciousness while you wash the dishes, navigate traffic, pay your bills, and deal with the complexities of human relationships. Spirituality that can't be experienced on a Monday morning is merely an escape, not a liberation. The biggest challenge is keeping your frequency high when the world, with its constant bombardment of fear, negativity, and drama, tries to pull you back to lower vibrations. It's easy to feel at peace on a mountaintop, but the true yogi is the one who maintains their inner peace in the middle of the market. It's about acting from your new awareness, even when the autopilot of habit, forged by decades of conditioning, insists on taking over and making you react with anger, fear, or self-pity, the same bills will continue to arrive. The same challenges at work or in your family may arise. The outside world doesn't magically change overnight. What changes is your perspective. You no longer view these events as a personal attack from the universe or as a sign that you are a victim. You see them as opportunities to practice patience, to choose love over fear, to keep your frequency high despite provocation. Each challenge becomes a test, a chance to strengthen your spiritual muscle. You are no longer a victim of circumstances. You are the vibrational center that influences them. You understand that the external situation is merely a reflection of a past vibration. Instead of reacting to the reflection, you turn inward and work on the source, your own state of being. You ask yourself, what version of myself do I need to be for this situation to resolve itself in the highest way? You stop trying to change the world and focus on changing yourself, knowing that the former will inevitably follow the latter. Living awake is a constant practice, a renewed commitment moment by moment. It's the practice of choosing awareness over reaction. It's choosing creation over dependence. It's choosing sovereignty over victimhood. It's not about being perfect, as perfection is an ego concept. It's about being mindful. It's about noticing when you've fallen into an old pattern and, without judgment, gently bringing yourself back to the present, back to the frequency you choose to emanate. Each time you choose the conscious response over the automatic reaction, you weaken the old neural pathways in your brain and strengthen the new ones. You are literally rewiring yourself for enlightenment. You are training your body and mind to operate from a new operating system, the system of the soul. And it is in this process of living consciously, of bringing the invisible into every act of the visible, that the universe begins to reorganize itself around you and communicate with you in a whole new and miraculous way. You stop fighting life and start dancing with it. You realize the universe isn't testing you. It's supporting you. It wants you to awaken. It wants you to remember your power. And to help you on this journey, it begins leaving clues, signs, and messages along your path, like breadcrumbs in a dark forest, guiding you back home. And learning to read this language is the next step in your mastery. When you commit to living consciously and keeping your frequency aligned, something extraordinary happens. The universe stops being a random, silent place and becomes your dance partner, your personal guide. It begins to communicate with you directly and intimately, not with words, but through a language of symbols, signs, and meaningful coincidences. Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung gave this phenomenon a modern name, calling it synchronicity. But the ancient masters already knew it millennia ago as the dialogue with the divine, the language of the soul. Suddenly, you start noticing patterns. You see the same numbers, like 1111 or 4144, over and over again on clocks, license plates, and receipts. You think of a song, and it starts playing on the radio at the same moment. You're struggling with a decision, and a book falls from a shelf, opening to a page with the exact answer you needed. A white feather floats and lands in front of you, just as you ask for a sign that you're on the right path. The right person calls you the second you need help most. These aren't flukes. They're not mere statistical coincidences. They're winks from the universe. They're coded messages from your higher self, or from the intelligence of the quantum field, confirming that you're in the flow, that you're aligned, that you're on the right path. They're like traffic signs on the highway of life, saying, keep going, turn left, or caution, dangerous curve ahead. The universe is constantly sending you feedback, but before, you were too distracted by the noise of your mind to notice the signs. Now, with your eyes open, you see them everywhere. The key to intensifying this communication is recognition and gratitude. Every time you notice a synchronicity, stop for a moment. Acknowledge it. Don't dismiss it as a silly coincidence. Smile and say, "Thank you" to the universe, out loud or in your heart. Thank you for the sign. I saw it. I got the message. This simple act of recognition and gratitude is like saying to the universe, "Yes, I'm listening. Please keep talking to me." And it will. The more you recognize and thank the signs, the more they intensify. This symbolic language is deeply personal. A symbol that means something to you may mean nothing to someone else. The universe uses its own database of memories, experiences, and archetypes to communicate with you. A butterfly may be a sign of transformation for you, while for someone else, it may be a reminder of a loved one who has passed away. That's why it's pointless to look up the meaning of symbols in symbol dictionaries. The true meaning lies in your intuition, in the feeling the sign awakens in you the moment it appears. By learning to decipher this language, you develop an unshakable trust in the flow of life. You stop worrying so much about the future, knowing you're being guided every step of the way. You learn to follow the push and pull of your intuition, even if your logical mind doesn't understand why. You surrender to the mystery, trusting that you're being led exactly where you need to be. Life ceases to be a struggle and becomes a magical adventure, a treasure hunt where each synchronicity is a new clue. This constant communication with the universe is living proof that you are not alone. You are part of a vast, loving, and interconnected intelligence that is conspiring on your behalf. You are a valuable player in a cosmic game, and the game's creator is giving you tips to help you win. And when you master this language and trust the guidance you receive, you move from simply understanding creation to actively participating in it, shaping your reality from the inside out with the precision of an artist. By understanding the language of the universe and trusting its guidance, you finally move from theory to practice of conscious manifestation. You cease being a student of the law of attraction and become a master of the law of vibration. You realize, at a cellular level, that you don't need to struggle, strive, or manipulate the outside world to create the life you desire. Struggle and effort are actually counterproductive, as they emit a frequency of lack and resistance. True power lies in surrender, permission, and alignment. The secret, the master key to shaping reality, is vibrational coherence. Coherence is the perfect alignment between what you think, what you feel, and what you do. It is when there is no contradiction in your being. You cannot think about abundance, fear scarcity, and act stingily, and expect to manifest prosperity. The universe responds to your dominant vibration. Coherence creates a clear, strong, and unified signal, a powerful wave that travels through the quantum field without interference, attracting to itself a reality that perfectly matches that wave. When you hold the vibration of what you desire as if it were already real, when you walk, talk, and act like the person who already has it. The quantum field, which is a perfect mirror, has no choice but to rearrange matter to match this new frequency. The right people appear. Opportunities arise out of nowhere. Money flows from unexpected sources. It's not magic in the supernatural sense. It's physics. You're simply tuning your internal radio to the station of the reality you choose to experience. Life ceases to be a series of random events and becomes a work of art that you paint moment by moment, from the inside out. You are the artist, and your feelings are the paints. You learn to use the palette of elevated emotions, such as love, joy, and gratitude, to paint the masterpiece of your life. You understand that external circumstances don't matter. What matters is your ability to generate the desired feeling internally, regardless of what the outside world is showing you. This is your superpower. This is the true power that has been hidden from you for so long. The ability to be the cause, not the effect, of your own life. The ability to stop being a leaf in the wind, tossed around by circumstances, and become the tree itself, rooted in your inner power, unshaken by life's storms. You no longer depend on anything or anyone for your happiness or well-being. You are the source. You are the point of origin. This is the true spiritual sovereignty that Thoth and all the great masters taught. It's not about having power over others. It's about having absolute power over yourself. It's the radical freedom of knowing that, no matter what happens in the world, you have the ability to choose your response, to choose your frequency, and therefore, to choose your reality. You are no longer a prisoner of the matrix. You are the architect of your own matrix. By living from this place of power and responsibility, you not only transform your own life, but also become a beacon of light for others. Your simple presence, your elevated frequency, begins to positively affect everyone around you. Raising the collective consciousness, you become living proof that freedom is possible. And by mastering the art of living as a conscious creator, you realize that this journey of awakening has no final destination. It is an infinite expansion, and a new portal is always opening before you. You've reached the end of this initial journey, but this is only the beginning. Thoth's secret wasn't information, but an activation that now begins within you. You felt the vibration of the source, learned the language of the universe, and received the key to your own consciousness. A new path of deepening, integration, and mastery opens before you, as the portal to the next level of consciousness is officially open. Transformation is not a destination, but a continuous expansion. Each level of awakening reveals new challenges and beauties, and each portal you traverse leads you to an even vaster inner landscape. The soul's journey is infinite, for consciousness itself is limitless. What you've experienced so far is only the first step out of the cave. The sunlight outside is infinitely brighter than you can imagine. The question now is no longer, what is reality? But rather, what do I choose to create with this new vision? The power is in your hands. You are no longer a passenger, but the engineer of the train of your life, capable of choosing its destination and even building new tracks. The responsibility is immense, but the joy of conscious creation is the greatest reward there is. The next level invites you to go beyond personal manifestation and become a channel for divine intelligence. The call is to use your power not only for yourself, but for the elevation of planetary consciousness. When you align your personal desire with the universal purpose, the power flowing through you multiplies exponentially, making you an agent of cosmic evolution. The invitation to continue this expansion has already been made and pulsates in every cell of your being. The next portal shines with an inviting light, and crossing it requires courage, surrender, and an unwavering commitment to your truth. The universe awaits, with infinite love, your decision. The choice, as always, is yours. What do you choose now? If you've made it this far, you're no longer the same person who started this video. The activation has begun, and your perception of the world will never be the same again. To let me know you felt this shift and are ready for the next step, leave the phrase, "I see beyond the invisible," in the comments. Your presence here, until the end, is already a huge help and shows the strength of your commitment. If you feel called to support this channel more directly and help me spread more content like this, there's a contribution link in the first pinned comment. Any help you can give is very important to me and to the growth of this work. But remember, The simple act of sharing this video with someone you feel is ready to awaken is already a powerful contribution. And before you go, your journey today is not over yet. I've put together a special video for you. Content that will delve even deeper into what we've discussed here and give you practical tools to apply this new perspective to your life. Don't leave yet. Click on the video that's currently playing on your screen and we'll meet there. See you on the other side.